Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Spirit of Justice. Previously, we completed the investigation phase of the second case. Maybe singular, maybe not. I'm not sure. Previously, I was pretty convinced that we might be seeing a shakeup of the formula, but I slept on it, and I'm like, well... So the Right Anything Agency is being, claimed, really? Because... Unless Apollo and Athena can come up with something clever, they're gonna lose the ownership of the office and everything in it, including Charlie. And I was like, alright, so we only have one day to do this. Clearly we need to finish this whole entire case in one singular day, but no. To actually stop this horrible tragedy from occurring, we just need to prove that Trucy is innocent. There could be a second day spent tracking down the real killer. So it could go either way. At any rate, we're due to meet one Nayuta Sadmati, an old friend of Apollo's, so I'm very, very interested in this. Let's load up and get in there, shall we? April 28th, 9:15 a.m. Just District Court. Defendant Lobby. Number 3. I swear this crawl gets slower every game. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. He's been like that since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all this. Get it together, Apollo. Yikes! Athena, when did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're getting yourself way too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nayuta Sadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Oh, yeah? What did you find out? Well, they say he wields an incredible power. What? To accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. Huh? Oh shit, wait, hold on! Dude! Dude, okay, so... Okay, not counting Edgeworth's logic chess, which is really just basic logic and deduction and reasoning skills. It never occurred to me that we could one day get a prosecutor who had a special power. Like you got Phoenix with his Cyclock with the Magatama. You got Apollo's bracelet that lets him know if someone's lying. You got Athena's tech, which analyzes emotions? Huh. You know, this does raise a good question, actually. The first case of this game introduced that whole, divination seance mechanic, where you could see the senses of the departed before they died. Well, we're not in Boy, I almost said Conria. No, Khura'in. We're not in Khura'in. And Rafa's not here, so clearly... Yeah, we won't be able to have that now, would we? So I guess this might stand in for that. Well, then again... I'm pretty sure the implication is that, Nayuta's going to be... over in, Khura'in for the future cases set back over there, so... you know what, I just need to get going here. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have all the details, but apparently, he can foresee how the arguments will go, and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. And this isn't going to be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she talked to him for us, though. Here's hoping that went well. In any case, it sounds like he's going to keep us on our toes. That's why I know you're ready. Why I know I can leave Trucy in the office to you. I believe in you, Apollo. Oh yeah, we're keeping this on for the rest of the game, and I don't care what anyone else says. What is happening? Mr. Wright is putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. There he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine! If you say so, Apollo. The trial will start momentarily. Is the defense ready? Yes, we're fine! Trucy's fate and the fate of the agency rest on this trial. This is it, Justice. If ever there was a time to shine, it's now. I believe in him. April 28th, 9:30 a.m. District Court. Courtroom. Number 6? What? How does that make sense? I thought we were in lobby 3? Huh. Didn't these used to start at 10 sharp? Huh. All rise. There he is. Look at him. That's my judge. Love you, man. Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Now, he's got a cool design. And the prosecution. Prosecutor Sadmati. 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim. Oh, praying. Yes, I see. You're a Khura'inist monk, correct, prosecutor? Yes, that is correct. I am but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Khura'in. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country and may make many blunders. Huh. He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Now let the last rites of the victim begin. Ayuda Sadmati. He's really been making a name for himself apparently, but that nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that will come into play today. He brought his own parchment? Okay. That's clearly not Japanifornian paper. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which she thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was... Yeah, okay. Man of Mystery. Otherwise known as the Great Mysterious. Also, on top of Man of Mystery, which is a 10 out of 10 name, it was pointed out to me in Discord that, yeah, I missed it. Mr. Reyes? That's mysterious. Goddamn. They don't care anymore. They just don't care. don't care about pulling punches. They want to kill you with your puns. They're going for it. His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick. Alright. Let's take a full look at that autopsy report. 10:30. Cause of death, shock as a result of being stabbed through the back with a sharp blade. Really? Shock, huh? But like it... Not even bled out, just the shock of being stabbed? Really? So his death was just an unfortunate accident? It is only natural for one to assume as such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident. I see. And you believe this crime was committed by the defendant? After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I unfortunately had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all. Very well, and now let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor. If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? He's so polite. This is great. My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? Maybe I spoke too soon. What a fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. Damn it! I spoke way too soon! Putrid mind? Prosecutor Sadmati. Excuse me, but... Huh? Oh god, he's casting a genjutsu on my ass. If you don't mind me asking, Prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting? A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul toward enlightenment. It is a Khura'inist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Okay, he's saying foolish, he's gonna fit right in. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused. I see. So basically you're asking the defense to get real. Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners and to guide victim souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you show repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But, should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell along with Trucy Wright. Now wait just 1 minute here. Putrid? Pit of hell? Is that a new way to address someone in a court of law? Prosecutor Sadmati, that may be the way you conduct trials in Khura'in, but I would appreciate it if you would refrain from such charged language here. Your Honor, that was but a Khura'inist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason. Oh, I see. I didn't realize. I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Khura'in, huh? Even still, that was way, way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. And the trial's only just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way the prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as a cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it? What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Uh-oh. I thought she'd said goodbye to the snackoos. How is she not fat? What's her exercise routine? Detective Sky, the courtroom is no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girls gotta eat, right? She, seems a little stressed out. Detective Sky, your testimony, please. Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Trucy Wright is innocent. I'm sorry? Detective Sky, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end. But let it go and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother. Oh, she's so down. Fine, I don't know about the divine part, but I get the punishment bit loud and clear. I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork or something for sticking up for Trucy. She and Prosecutor Sadmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. Really? A motive? Trucy? What could that possibly be? The evidence, if you would, Detective Sky. All right. Please take a look at this poster. Oh. Huh. It's a Troop Grammary poster from 13 years ago. Uh-huh. Is it just me or is it a little different from the one in Miss Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of that poster. This one says cancelled under Mr. Reyes. That's right. Mr. Reyes left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Reyes' right forearm, near his elbow. See that big scar there? Oh my god, they're bringing it up right now? Okay. He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. Ouch, that's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifi Grammary concluded Mr. Reyes was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifi announced Mr. Reyes wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Magnifi's decision, Mr. Reyes tried to go on stage anyway. This in turn caused Magnifi to oust Mr. Reyes from the troupe on the spot. Whoa. Well, all this sounds like it's Man of Mystery's motive to kill Trucy, not the other way around. Huh. He kicked Mr. Reyes out. That seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? When it came to magic, Troop Grammary was so passionate, or should I say extreme, about it that it caused problems for them from time to time. Yes, they even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics. And now the troop's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troop's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality. You sound rather extreme yourself, Prosecutor. Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor. Ahem. As I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Reyes apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troop. He would tell those close to him, I will get my revenge on Troop Grammary someday. Revenge? That certainly sounds antagonistic. And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you would be so kind, Detective Sky. I guess I don't have a choice, do I? Well, let's hear it then. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gramarye during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Reyes was going to first steal the Gramarye notebook from the defendant. Oh. Alright, that sounds plausible. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Reyes and make it look like an accident.
Objection!
That's nothing but conjecture.
Objection!
The victim's assistant, Bonnie DeFemme, gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Reyes said, "I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gramarye's secrets on stage today." What? Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it? You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, defense. Oh, and what's that? Oh, butterfly. Let it go and move on. Excuse me? Helping a sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames of hell, and then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life. But I don't believe in that sort of thing. Besides, I have no intention of giving up. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life. A stink bug? Now then, Mr. Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Love you, Judge. The defendant's motive. Righto. Let's take this one step at a time, I guess. The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Gramarye during Trucy's magic show.
Hold it!
Revenge after all this time? It's been 13 years already. Why now? I know, right? I thought that was pretty sketchy myself. I mean, wouldn't he have done it a long time ago if he was gonna do it, after all? Detective Sky, self-indulgent outbursts such as those will earn you divine punishment. In the form of a salary evaluation. Oh, crap, he knows all the tricks. Eep. Wait, that's what divine punishment means? Let the detective have her snack. This humble servant of the Holy Mother shall explain. Over a decade ago, Troop Gramarye was at the height of their popularity. But then their reputation declined, and they had all but faded from public memory. Until recently, that is, when Trucy Wright sought to recapture their former glory. The defendant? And at such a young age, too. How impressive. Yes, the accused's skill at magic is undeniably impressive. If she hadn't fallen onto the path of sin, she would have had a bright future ahead of her. It's always sad to see such promising young potential go to waste. Now then, Detective Sky, how did Mr. Reyes plan to get his revenge? And please put down the snackoos before you continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Reyes was going to first steal the Gramarye notebook from the defendant.
Hold it!
What evidence do you have that Mr. Reyes actually stole the notebook? Well, you see, What did you just talk about? Whenever you're ready, Detective. Fret not, Detective Sky. You have nothing to repent for. You should be proud of the fine forensic discovery that you made. Forensic discovery? And what did she discover specifically? Detective Sky identified a certain set of fingerprints on the notebook. Upon further inspection, she determined that they belonged to Mr. Reyes. What? The detective found the fingerprints entirely of her own volition. For that, I must say, well done, Detective Sky. Got a little too addicted to using your precious white powder, did you, Emma? Oh, man. Cocaine. Yeah. Now, Detective Sky, I would ask you to explain exactly how Mr. Reyes intended to use the notebook to exact his revenge. All right, well, first he stole the notebook. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show.
Hold it!
I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gramarye's secrets on stage today. That's what Mr. Reyes himself said, right? Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Gramarye secrets he was talking about. But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Gramarye's magic. Yes, that is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Reyes was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked. So basically, Trixie's notebook was hiding in Mr. Reyes' things because he had stolen it himself? I see. Truly a motive that only a magician could have. Yes, that's what the prosecution believes anyway. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook...
Hold it!
Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Sky? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Reyes to stop him from getting his revenge? Of course I don't think that. The Trucy we know... Keep your private considerations separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began, did I not, Detective Sky? Yes, you did. Please recite my exact words to you. Emma Sky, you are detective first and foremost, not the accused's friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully. Excellent. So you do remember what I said to you. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded, for the Holy Mother sees all. This Holy Mother is no scientific concept I've ever heard of. Those two really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as well as oil and water. As I was saying... The defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder? Beats me. What? The basis is beats me? You'll have to ask Prosecutor Sadmati over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either. Detective Sky, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. Oh. The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer. Ah! Please don't get me kicked out of the forensic unit. Anything but that. Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything for us. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? It was the luminous tape in the understage passage. I realized that it had been moved so that Mr. Reyes would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake. Oh. What? Mr. Reyes, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area, after being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1. Mr. Reyes was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin. But the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape? But of course, Detective Sky. Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape. You what? You actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it all go and move on? Absolutely not. Detective, please add the information about the prints on the tape to your testimony. Interesting. Well, couldn't it be possible that Trucy simply put it there before the show began? Well, yeah, I mean... Let's press this. The defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show.
Hold it!
What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints? Well, I bet it was Detective's intuition. I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints. Oh? I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without anybody getting mad at me. It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic. The tape was moved to guide Mr. Reyes into the coffin that was downstage. If that's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident. Oh, excuse me. It certainly doesn't help that Trucy's prints are on the tape. I wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation. Alright, well, a rule of thumb with this series, anything that gets added to the testimony is probably the right thing to do. Plus, this seems like a really open and closed fact. If we can disprove this... Not fact, statement, I mean. She must have moved it during the show. Oh, yeah, maybe we can say she must have had no time. The only time Trucy was beneath the stage during the show was when she had to struggle to move the lift with all her might. She wouldn't have had time. That might be a good thing to say. But is there anything else that has to do with tape here? Unknown prints on the top panel of the coffin, though. Oh. Hello. Trucy wore gloves during the show, so none of her fingerprints were found. Hey! That contradicts it. Oh. Huh. Shoot, let's go with that. Yeah, this feels good.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Detective Sky, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Oh, really? The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at that time. It doesn't. Please consider the fingerprinting results of the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints were found on or in it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints on that coffin. Huh? I think you've realized what the flaw in your testimony is. Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Oh! She must have left the prints sometime before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient. Oh my! But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim. I see. Apparently, the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. Ow! Backhand! More than a stink bug at any rate. Come on, you can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can't you? I don't know, yeah. Stag beetle? Those impressive horns of his? Yeah, I see it. Will that really be any better? Athena, shut up! Go watch Kamen Rider. Of course, way better. Stag beetles are cool with those huge mandibles of theirs. If the defense wishes to be promoted to a stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot. Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim, the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide and entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into said coffin with the victim in it. So what you're saying is the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right? Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of this case. If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter. I see. If it was involuntary manslaughter, they could plead extenuating circumstances, and the severity of the crime could be mitigated. Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue that it was an accident? This is it, the all-important question. The defense argues that Mr. Race's death was... Yeah, it was murder, but Trucy did not do it. The defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And, what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. A third party? As in the true culprit is someone else? That is quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Wow! Wow! Your clothes are garish and you have no brain. You have an empty skull. Rude. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life. I've been demoted to a vegetable? Wow, I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear this reasoning of yours then. Alright, but before I give it, there is one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? A very good question. Now, let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up inside the coffin? Okay, it was magic is clearly bull. He was killed in the coffin just leads right back to Trucy. So I want to believe the critical moment happened when he was alone under stage. But this... Look, if he was killed under stage, not only would he have had to have been lifted up into the upstage coffin at the front of the stage, in front of the audience, but that wouldn't explain how his fingerprints got on the inside of that coffin his body was found in. Yeah, if he was killed under stage, there's no explaining this. Not really. Well, maybe this is just a problem for a future Apollo to deal with. He was killed under stage, yeah. What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? Oh, I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Sadmari? That is the third time. The third time of what? Huh? What the heck is this? Ow, my head! What do you think you're doing? Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you needed to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon. A sermon? Now? There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Khura'inism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake. Huh? A cornered lawyer has unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get it right? No, for I am not done with my sermon. And yet the frog still dies, its belly bitten and torn from within. Just great. And in this case, you are that frog, Defense. What exactly is your point, anyway? Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who, then, had the opportunity to do so during the show? Let's see. The people in the show were Bonnie DeFam, the victim Mr. Reyes, and Trucy Wright. Bonnie DeFam was on stage throughout the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage from the show. Which leaves us with only one suspect, Trucy Wright. Ugh. Now do you see? The accused killed Mr. Reyes as he waited on standby in the understage passage, and then placed his dead body in the coffin above, thus making the murder look like an accident. No! O great and merciful Holy Mother, thus another putrid mind has been guided toward enlightenment. Can't believe I swallowed his trick question whole.
Objection!
Sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena, what are you... There's something I want to point out, Apollo. And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance. I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same. And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity? I most certainly would. Oh, I was wondering if we'd do this in this game. Huh. You just argue that the defendant killed the victim under the stage. But let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl. Clearly, surely you didn't raise an objection simply to point out such an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her home.
Hold it!
But I'm not done with my sermon. You don't need to talk like Prosecutor Sanmati, you know. Listen, if the victim was killed in the understage passage, then his body would then have to be hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have hefted that large body up and put it in the coffin. That's true. It does seem like it would be a rather difficult task for the defendant. I don't think even I could do it. What do you think of that, prosecutor? Who's the child now? In my religion, the priestesses of Khura'inism are revered as the pillars of our beliefs. So I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. I also think highly of the female perspective. Says the man who called this fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? I agree that your point is worth discussing, Defense. How indeed was the dead body raised up into the coffin? Uh-oh. Wait, no, I know where he's going with this, and I know how to counter it already. By the accused, Trucy Wright, that is. You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, huh? Then you explain how that even be possible. But of course. There was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up. Huh? Wait, you really can't explain it? I foresaw that our arguments would come to this, so I have prepared a witness. Oh. Well, I admire your readiness, prosecutor. It is really not that difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial. He couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, could he? It's pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, but may I step down now? Yes, I suppose you may. One moment, Detective Sky. I'm sorry for, the way I handled all of this. You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable. It was? Yes, you served well as a detective and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame the conflicted emotions you felt and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work. Oh, thank you. I hope we can work together again in the future. Emma seems bewildered by the unexpected praise. I guess he's a pretty nice person like they say, as long as you're not up against him. Now then, let us call the next witness. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm a legomorphing illusionist from the land of fairy tales, Bonnie DeFam. I can't wait to do some magic tricks for all of you. Please, witness, there is a time and a place for all things, including magic. Oh, but it would be okay if I do just a little magic, right? Come on, please. Look, everybody's waiting. Now's my chance to shine. That is your second time. My second time doing what? There will be no further warnings. You should know that from our preparatory meeting, correct? Eep. Is no one exempt from His Holiness's rosary of suffering? May we have your testimony, witness, once you've recovered from your disappointment? Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, I don't really want to testify against her. But I guess I have to, don't I? Ugh, this slimy scum. As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh? I hate her. I loathe her. I can't stand that Trucy right. Just because she's a little good at magic, she thinks she's all that. So this is exactly what that sniveling brat deserves. Sure, you're a real fan, all right. Destroying Trucy, you mean? Witness testimony. The understage passage. Well, you know how it is. Perfect place to stop. Nayuta's a pretty swell fellow. Very interesting. Boy, throwing rosary at Apollo's head and using a magic chant to make it squeeze and constrict him. He is like a snake. Yeah, the snake imagery is, yeah, that's not too... good feeling? Okay, look, I'm trying to rack my mind across all media I've ever consumed in my life. As far as snake-themed characters go, I can think of maybe one that was actually a pretty alright upstanding person, like just completely a good dude. So odds are Nayuta's I don't know. Look, okay, at the end of the day, he's Apollo's old friend. If I know of the way they write Ace Attorney games, it's gonna turn out that, yes, Nayuta Sadmati is a good person at heart, maybe misguided, maybe struggling with something tragic in his past, but overall, at the end of the day, by the time this game is over, he's probably gonna be a good person. Like, let's be real, what has he done wrong so far? Not much. He's just a stickler for Khura'inism ways and hating defense attorneys. Like, if you could kind of redeem Barak Van Zeeks in The Great Ace Attorney, then come on. Hell, well, I don't know. The series does have instances where prosecutors have been true scumbags to the end. Like, look no further than Gasp in Pain, we just dealt with him. And there's also Godot. So... could go either way, I don't know. It would be really interesting if Apollo had to grapple with the facts that someone he once knew and trusted has become a bad person. But this is all conjecture, something that to think about for, like, fifth and final case territory. Well, not counting the case we'll do 6th, the special DLC case, but that's another story. Well, yeah, next time I guess we'll start cracking apart Bonnie's testimony. Odds are we'll be talking about the lifts, and we definitely have evidence that Trucy only narrowly had time to just push one aside, and it was impossible for one single person to lower a lift back down. So I think we have some good ammunition coming out the gate next time, but after that, it's anyone's game. And boy, you know what? For as fast as we got through Emma's testimony, the pacing of this trial does seem to be going quite normally along. So maybe we are gonna be in for a investigation phase, a second one after this. If we can just prove that Trucy was not the killer and therefore she was not the one to cancel the show, then the phony contract would be defeated, right? Let me double check how that works. Contract, yeah. If through fault of the second party the show must be cancelled in part or in full, yes, that's it. Yes, we can just buy time. We don't need to solve this case. We just need to prove Trucy innocent. Yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, that settles it. We have more investigations and trials ahead of us in case 2 here. Well, in that case, looking forward to it. But for now, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Spirit of Justice. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.